What's going on, you guys out there in YouTube land? Um, I am the 1122 Wingnut Radio out here for Anarchy Television. And I decided to come down here and take the dogs down to the pond and let them play around for a while down here. And take you guys with me. Yeah, I'll have to apologize. It's a little windy out here today. If anybody hears the wind in the microphone, so it's a little windy out. And since years ago, this property got timbered a long time ago. There's just no damn trees hardly. So the wind just kind of kicks through here. You okay a little bit? Yeah. There was a couple of fish that were jumping right over there, right along this grassy spot. And pretty good sized fish that were jumping evidently, man, because they made a big splash. And there are different types of fish in here, I think. I know there's some bass and some brim and some other stuff in here too. I'm not sure exactly what. But there's, let's see here. Let's walk over here down. See if I can see anything down here without the glare of the water. I mean, we can see it. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but there's a few. Hold on, let me see if I can attract some. There's a few in there. Hiding up underneath the dock. Quite a few of them sitting right there. Should have brought like a handful of dog food with me to throw in there and feed them. I spit in there and they all kind of congregate right underneath where I spit. A little bit still hasn't figured out how to swim yet. She's working on it. She'll get her toes in there, and that's about it. She hasn't really gotten in there and started swimming yet. I'm hoping Big Girl will kind of teach her, you know, because Big Girl will get in here and swim. What? You gonna teach the little girl a little bit to swim? You gonna get her to swim in the damn water today? Huh? You gonna teach her how to swim? Don't knock my cane over. It's kind of funny, actually. You know, Little Bit will get something to chew on, and Big Girl try and steal it from her, and Big Girl gets something to chew on, a Little Bit will try to steal it from her. Yeah, yeah, she hasn't really gotten the damn courage yet to get in the water. I mean, she'll put her feet in it, you know, a little bit will put her feet in it and stuff like that, but she really hasn't gotten the courage to get it all the way in it yet. But, you know, I guess the more I come down here and Big Girl gets in there and swims, she'll kind of figure it out and get enough courage to get in there with her. But, you know, it's going to take a little while. Yeah, I don't want that root there. Go ahead and yank that root out of the ground for me. Yank it out of the ground for me a little bit. Oh, well, morning time, Mike. Or whatever time it is where you're at. Yeah, I'm just down here with the dogs, letting them do a little playing down here at the pond. And it's so far a nice morning. I don't know what they're digging for. Excuse me. What the hell are you digging for, big girl? Yeah, I'm in Florida. I'm on the panhandle of Florida. That's where I'm at, Mike. Panhandle of Florida. Ow! Ran right into the damn dock. Bumped your head. So, yeah, it's something like, I can't remember what time it is. It's early. Let me see if I can brighten the screen up a little bit so I can see the chat better. Like I said, there was right along this inside part of the grass right here. There was some fish jumping over there a little while ago, and Binsky, yeah, yeah, 7 here in the south. I'm technically I'm in the central time zone, so if it's 7 o'clock East Coast time, it's 8 o'clock here. I mean, like I said, it's early to me. I don't. Normally, I'm a night person anyway, so I I'm, I'm, I like to stay up all damn night, and then as soon as the sun comes up, go to sleep. But I've been up for a few hours now, and these guys in a really playful mood this early in the morning. Yeah. Well, good afternoon, Bisky. Binsky, Brandon. Good to see you too. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like a 6-hour difference between me and you guys out there in the UK. Snooks, what's going on, girl? Yeah, these guys are kind of hoping that big girl will teach a little bit on how to swim. Little bit hasn't really gotten in there that much. She's gotten her toes wet, and that's about it. But she hasn't really gotten in there to swim yet. I'm kind of hoping the more I bring her down, big girl will teach her how to swim. You know, Snooks, I'm gonna tell you something, man. Even if I wanted to come out there, man, I couldn't. I've got no way. I ride a bicycle now. I mean, because I don't have a car, so I couldn't get anywhere anyway. Yeah. So, and like I said, I mean, all I can do is sit in the chat, or if I feel like I can contribute to a panel, I'll get on the panel. But you know, like I said, I just and unless I got something I think I can contribute to a panel, I don't know. I'll just sit in the chat and yeah, pedal fast. You'll be all right, girl. You'll be. Yeah, I appreciate that, Snooks. I really don't ask people majority of the time, like all the rest of those big YouTubers do. I don't really ask people to like and subscribe and all that stuff, but I appreciate that. It's like, if you guys want to, man, push that like button and subscribe and all that good stuff. Like I'm asking kind of like all the big YouTubers do now, so what are you guys looking at? Oh, you dropped that pine cone in the water. You want to get that pine cone. That's what you're looking at. You gonna get it? Go get it, big girl. Go in there and get that pine cone. Go in there and get that pine cone. Go get it. Go in there. Swim in there and get it. I want a little bit to learn how to swim. You're gonna learn how to swim one of these days soon. Yes, you are. Well, I mean, I know there's some bass in here. I know there's some brim. There's some other stuff. I doubt you guys can. I don't know if you guys can see it. because of the glare on the water. But yeah, there's some fish. There's some smaller fish in there too. But I think there's like, I don't know, 3 or 4 different kinds in here. I think. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure there's like, I know there's some bass and I know there's some brim. But other than that, I'm not really sure what the other ones are. But you can kind of see some in there floating, swimming around. Hopefully you guys can see that on the camera. But there were some big ones jumping right here along this grass line right here. Damn helicopter flying right above me. Yeah, a helicopter. Actually, there was a couple of them that were flying real low, right across, right there, right across my damn property out here. For some reason, I have no idea. I mean, it's not the normal flight path to going over this area. So, I mean, it's kind of strange to see airplanes and helicopters kind of flying over. Yeah, yeah, bass are good, man. I'll tell you. Yeah, even the brim out here get, pan size, like, cast iron skillet size type fish, So I mean, they're good. I mean, honestly, you fry them brim up, cast iron skillet. It's actually pretty damn good. Yeah, it's actually nice out here, Pinsky. I mean, honestly, this was all pine forest at one time, years ago, before my granddad died. But right before my granddad died, it all got timbered, and now it's all this damn grassland. And my uncle Sid, he's out here all the time mowing this grass because he likes this golf course look. Personally, I can care less for all that shit. Honestly, in my, the way I see things, this golf course look is actually bad for the environment. I'll give you 2 examples when it comes down to animals. Deer and turkey don't like this shit. We used to see deer and turkey out here all the time. And I hadn't seen deer out here in like 4 years. I mean, I haven't seen deer out here during the daytime, at least, in years. And turkey, I haven't seen turkey out here at all in over 4 years. And there's just nothing there with grass. And it, so I personally don't like it. My uncle, he loves this golf course look, so he's out here all the time. He's out here on a damn mower mowing this shit hours every day, because he wants to keep this golf course look, and I think it's shitty personally. Personally, I would love to see all this woods again, all this with trees and stuff like that, like it used to be. But it's not all, it's not my property. It's majority of this right here is my uncle's property, and that's where he lives right there. And this is on his property. I mean, I have access to all this because, I mean, honestly, I got a lot of family that live around here, and majority of the land around here is all kind of connected and connected by family. Well, snooks, I mean, honestly, I'm still quite, I'm still, not necessarily. I mean, as it sits right at this moment, I am kind of settled. I'm working on things. I'm trying to work out, the piece of land that I'm sitting on right now, where the house is at, was my dad's piece of land. and when he passed away in January, it's now in his well, the woman that he married before he died, it's in her name, and I'm still trying to figure out where my future is right now, because I mean, it's still kind of up in the air. I don't really have any details on what's going to happen to the property and all that stuff. I'm trying to get at least an acre cut out right there where the pole barn is, and so I have at the minimum an acre, for myself, and and plus, this property out here has been in the family for about three or four generations or something like that, and I don't want it to get out of the family. I want it to stay right here in the family. Get out of them woods over there. Come on. I don't want a little bit over there in those damn woods. I don't know if there's any snakes over there. Little bit. Little bit. Get over here. Little bit. Get over here. I don't know if there's any snakes over there. I don't want you to get bit by a damn snake. It'd be a fucking cottonmouth over there or something. Or damn. There you go. Get in that water. Or, it'd be a damn cottonmouth or a freaking water moccasin over there in them damn bushes and shit. And I don't want you getting bit. Big girl knows how to take care of a damn snake, but little bit doesn't know anything about snakes yet. She hasn't come across any snakes before. Yeah, I mean, honestly, Bensky, I mean, I would like to have some more animals. It's just right now, me personally, um, it's more like my financial situation that's keeping me from getting more and more animals. Because honestly, I mean, Big Girl over there has had like 3 litters of puppies. Because a little bit, that's the last puppy out of her last, that I have out of her last litter. And quite honestly, if I could afford it, I'd have 15 or 20 dogs out here. You know what I mean? And I just can't afford it. And but I'd like to have I'd like to have some goats. I'd like to have some other stuff, and goats for sure. They be like a organic lawnmower. They keep my grass all maintained and stuff like that. And I'd like to have some chickens out here, and there's a few other things. I wouldn't mind having like Big Girl, where in the hell are you going? Get back over here. Come on. It's just one of them things. It's just right now. It's just like and honestly, in Biscuit, I don't really want a whole lot of buildings out here either. That's another thing too. Actually, I'd like to have just all this turned back into woods and have a little tiny place sitting out in the middle of it, kind of hidden. That's what I'd rather have. I mean, if I was to get down to that, like, that prepper type mentality, this is not tactical. This is not tactical. This would be very hard to defend. You know what I'm saying? Especially by yourself. This is just, is not good. Quite honestly, man, if everything goes to crap, all somebody has to do is just sit over in the damn tree line over there with a deer rifle and, pick me off and take all my shit, and I wouldn't know anything about it, So it's really hard on a tactical type of scenario. It's really hard to defend this wide open grassland. I mean, they can see me really good. I mean, and granted, I can see them if they're out in the open, but like if they're hidden somewhere over there in that damn tree line, I'll never even know it. They could be sitting right over there in that damn tree line with a damn deer rifle and a scope and pick me off and that kind of shit. So personally, I'd rather have it like woods like that. There's a section of woods over there. It's my aunt's piece of property, and it's all still wooded. And I'd love to have all of this like that over there. But it's not my decision. I mean, if it was my decision, I would. I'd turn this back into a woodland. You know. Yeah, landmines. Well, I mean, like I said, quit! Don't you chew on my damn stick. Yeah, I do need chickens and a few other different. Well, see, oh yeah, no, they're paying for. Hell, here, the largest farmland owner in the United States is Bill Gates. Yep, Bill Gates is the largest farmland owner in the United States now. And a lot of these multi-generational farms and people that raise cattle, they're getting moved out. They're getting moved out and stuff like that. And it's really disheartening. I mean, hell, even the government here in US are trying to throw regulations on the Amish. You know what I mean? For raising, organic, I guess you would call it, organic beef, and stuff like that. Because they want to regulate it and they want to, that kind of stuff. It's pretty bad. Bill Gates wants us all to eat bugs and 3D printed freaking meat. And fuck him. And it's just getting really. It's like we as Americans, we got to constantly fight the government to be free and to be left alone. You know, and that's not how it's supposed to be. That's not how it was supposed to be. And unfortunately, we've got a lot of these fuckers that are, all this corruption and all this stuff like that. When it comes down to it, corporatism, corporations and stuff. They're, the central banks and stuff. They're just trying to control all of us as peasants in their little kingdom. You know, and it's frustrating to me. Because this is what I was born into, and but basically, and it's been happening basically since after the revolution and the war between the states and the Civil War and stuff like that. Because I'm a Southern boy, and I'm gonna tell you something, man. The states of the Confederation were better. They thought of much better things when it comes down to even the Confederate Constitution was actually protected our natural rights that are endowed to us by God or the Creator, whichever you want to call it, and not by government. And ever since those wankies, is what I call them, wankies. They're wankers, but they're also Yankees. These fucking Northerners, back in the day of the War of the States and stuff. They've just stopped digging there, and they screwed us all, and they continue to screw us all. The Federalists and stuff like that, they continue to screw us all. And it just infuriates me that we've got to continue to fight so hard every day of our life just to keep our freedom and be left alone. It's the same thing with like the farmlands and stuff like that. It's like We there's we don't produce enough food here in the United States to feed everybody. We outsource it. I mean, there's a lot of food that we get shipped in from other places. So we don't even produce enough food here in the United States, and a lot of it is because a lot of the farmlands are getting bought up by corporations and stuff like that, like Bill Gates and stuff like that, and they're getting run out. Like I said, like the beef. Quit fucking digging there. I'm gonna tell you something. I'm gonna beat your ass if you keep digging like that. Especially that's my uncle. My uncle just planted that damn pine tree. He will get really pissed if he finds you fucking digging right there. I will beat your ass. You keep digging in that fucking hole. Quit it. Quit it. I'm telling you, I'm gonna beat your ass. Do not teach little bit how to fucking do that shit. You teaching her bad habits. Yeah, I don't really necessarily trust Elon either, honestly. You know, he puts on a good show, but I don't really trust him. Majority of the money that he makes is from government contracts. You got to understand that. Quit fucking digging there. You got to understand that he makes majority of his money from government contracts, so he's in the pocket. When it comes down to government stuff. So I don't trust him either. Quit fucking digging there. So you got to be aware of some of these so-called philanthropists or whatever, even if they sound or try to make themselves sound good. You got to be very aware of that shit. And you'd never trust any of them, honestly. I don't trust any of them as far as I can throw them. Yeah, you're right. And honestly, I mean, George Carlin said it well back in the day. It's like, it's a big club and we aren't in it. And they got this multi-generational club that they want to continue to, be our masters. Little bit. Quit fucking digging. They want to continue to be our masters and rulers and stuff because they want to have this self-proclaimed authority, like they're like kings and queens of old days. I mean, it's like a Game of Thrones in real life. You know what I'm saying? And quite honestly, people need to wake up. And that's the reason why the kings and the queens don't want us to wake up, is because they know the peasants would go into that castle and slice their fucking throat at night. That's the reason why they try to keep us all, asleep and bootlicking to their tyranny, is because, they know if we wake up and realize the truth, uh, you know, we'd all come after them with pitchforks and knives and kill them all. You know. No, I agree. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, when it comes down to the Matrix, honestly, because I'm just, I'm more lean toward anarchy and anarchism, and people do need to wake up and awaken from that slumber in that Matrix, and embrace true freedom of true anarchy. I give you guys an example. here in America. I mean, here in America, we had these hurricanes just recently, like Hurricane Helene, and I'm going to speak about that one in particular, Hurricane Helene. And there's a lot of places up in North Carolina and stuff like that basically wiped off the map, because of the hurricane. And what I have been watching, and I am so proud of people doing this, is Americans coming together to help other Americans, and Americans are getting it done, without the help of government, and at times in spite of government. This is a form of true anarchy. That's what real, true anarchy looks like. And so, we don't need government, we don't need to, this taxes and shit like that. We need to, it's nothing but theft, and done at the point of a government gun. It's extortion, I mean, quite honestly, if you just realize this, even if we got rid of taxes, a lot of people sit there and they'll have this, this argument. It's like, oh, if we got rid of taxes, how would we wouldn't have any roads and all that stuff. I was like, oh my God, dude, we don't need government to have fucking roads and maintain roads. We could do it ourselves. We can do it ourselves. And we'd get it done cheaper. We'd get it done better and in less time. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the thing. It's like, there's too many people that are so caught up in this cognitive dissonance that we have to have it or we wouldn't have this stuff that we've got. And the reason why we've got the stuff we got is to keep us, domesticated and in line. You know what I mean? And people believe all this stuff. I mean, I'll even get into the radio stuff too. I'm sitting there, I've been watching a lot of these channels. These are ham operators and stuff like that. It's got YouTube channels and stuff. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, and like in the Hurricane Helene scenario, in a state of emergency, and according to the FCC rules, which are not laws, they are rules. But according to the rules and stuff, even in a state of emergency, you don't need a license to actually use the ham radio to call for help or whatever. And the thing is, it's like you get these guys that are what I call the sad hams, the traditionalists of the ham operating world, that think that they are better than everybody else, and they will try and be a dickhead to people that are getting on ham frequencies and calling for help, and they'll be like, oh, well, you can't do that. They'll just cross their arms and say, I'm the gatekeeper of ham operating radio. I'm the gatekeeper, and by God, if you ain't got a license, you can't be here. They got this stupid mentality, like they're just better than everybody. And I bring up the argument, it's just, why don't we just get rid of licensing for ham altogether? We just need to get rid of it, because actually, if you get down to the nitty gritty, a license is a tax. A license is a tax. All right. Here in America, I'm going to tell you something, man. It's never a good idea to register your weapons with the government. Okay. And it's the same thing with your speech. It's never a good idea to register your speech with the government. And that's the same thing when it comes down to getting a license with ham operating and stuff. You're registering your speech with the government, and you're paying a tax. That's what it is. And so I bring up the argument, and I mean, I get these guys, these bootlicking, useless idiots that come back to me on some of these comments saying, that they want government to mandate or whatever licensing and stuff like that, and make people get a license and all this other crap. It's stupid. It creates a class system also, because some of these guys, not all ham operators like this, but you get some of these guys out there that what I call the sad hams that totally think that, oh, I'm just better than you because I got a ham license. You know what I mean? I mean, you're a fucking idiot. But, so in my opinion, I think we just need to abolish or get rid of the licensing for ham altogether. Get rid of licensing for radio, for the, citizens. I mean, honestly, the government doesn't own the airwaves, y'all. The government, no matter what government, it doesn't matter where you are in the world, the government doesn't own the airwaves. I mean, it's kind of like, over there in the UK, they were charging you money just to have it, for TV. If you got a TV with like an antenna on it and you were receiving broadcast television over the airwaves, they wanted to charge you for that. It's just nothing but a tax. That's all it is. It's a tax on your freedom. And like here in America, I mean, unfortunately, there's so many people in government and government as a whole, they just basically wipe their ass with the Constitution, our Bill of Rights, and everything. They just wipe their ass with it. They don't care. And honestly, I mean, until people wake up and actually start resisting this shit, it'll continue to get worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. It's been doing it for hundreds of years so far, 200 some odd years. It's been getting worse every time. And hasn't gotten any better. None of these politicians, I don't care who they are, none of these politicians actually come through with any of their promises that they promised to get when they want to get the job. They promise you this and that, and all this stuff, and then they get the job and they do the exact opposite of what they promised they were going to do. It happens every fucking time. Or they get killed off. You know what I mean? That's the thing. They get assassinated or something like that. Yeah, that was another thing too. Now I don't even know how to actually. I don't know. I'm kind of on the fence on the whole thing because there was supposedly a third assassination attempt on Trump. There's a part of me that doesn't even want to believe that. And then on top of that, it's like the government wants to sit there and think that they believe that they can suspend our natural right, which is a Second Amendment right, our natural right, and if there's a damn political rally, suspend our natural God-given right of the Second Amendment if we go into a courthouse or something, or anything that has to do with government government scenarios. They want to suspend our natural rights, and they think that they have the right to do so, and they don't really. They just use force and violence to keep people, in line. And it's just like they over there in the UK. I was sitting there talking to UK Transparency yesterday, and they've gotten so many people afraid to even speak up and protest about certain things. And they're doing the same thing here. They're trying to do the same thing here. Try to get people so afraid to even say anything contrary to the government narrative. They censor so much stuff out there. When it comes down to it, and it's nothing new. This has been going on for centuries. It's not anything new, but it's one of them things. Is like they want to keep everybody thinking the same way and speaking the same way, and if it goes against their narrative, they'll try and use force and violence. Like there's people that's already had FBI come to their house, asking questions because of a damn post that they put on Facebook or something. It's pretty bad. Well, technically, Devil Dog, I'm gonna tell you something. They just, they think that they can suspend our natural rights in an emergency, for instance. So that what they'll do is they'll create an emergency to suspend our natural rights. All right. You know, and technically the only tyranny that's coming out is not from the people, it's from the goddamn government itself. You know, it's from the people that are actually in the government, and every level of it, it don't matter. But that's the true tyranny that's in this nation. You know, and I mean, it's the same thing with like cops. Cops are actually the tyranny of those evil men in government. You know, because those evil men in government, they can't do shit. All they do is just write a bunch of words on a fancy piece of paper. The cops are the where the rubber meets the road scenario. They are the tyranny of those evil men, you know, because they're the ones that use force and violence on American people and every three-letter agency along with it, you know. Um, You know, we need to bring back the Articles of Confederation and the Confederate Constitution, because that is the, you know, if we, it, you know, bring it back down to an actual, you know, Now, see, this is the thing too. A lot of people don't understand and realize the difference between what used to be at the beginning was these United States for America. And then they changed two words and they changed it to the United States of America. Well, and technically that's not even true nowadays either. It's actually just all capital letter United States, you know, the United States Corporation. And, you know, the America as a whole is not a true republic. Technically, how it was supposed to be as a republic is every state is the republic. All right, every state as itself, as its own sovereign nation in a sense, is a republic. All right, and that's how a true republic is supposed to be. You know, because a republic means infinitely. It's like very, very small, and you can't have a very, very small republic when it's the size of a fucking nation. You know what I mean? You know, we have to have individual republics, which would be every state. And honestly, when they brought everything together in this consolidation or whatever of the fucking union, that's where it screwed everything up. It made this, you know, it was the beginning of this monolithic fucking bullshit tyranny over the people, and individual rights and stuff like that disappeared, you know, because they are more concerned about the collective than the individual. And that is not how this country is supposed to be. It's not how this land is supposed to be. And I don't care what anybody says. I really don't give a shit. Because I mean, honestly, man, if you argue into the contrary, you're playing into their game, and you're actually, you know, uh, bringing in more of that type of tyranny, because you're complying with this idea that we should have something, you know, like what we got. And we don't need a revolution either. I mean, we need more of a or even a civil war. I mean, honestly, I think we just need to go back to our basics, you know, um, to what's real, and where our individual life, freedom, and property is, you know, foremost in our minds, and we're willing to, you know, die to protect it. I mean, you know what I mean? Because that's another thing too. Most people don't even know what they're willing to, you know, die for. I mean, you know, hell, they don't even know exactly what they're willing to live for. Mostly a bunch of fucking paper fucking funny money. But I don't know. It's unfortunate though. So many people have been indoctrinated into this fucking stupid shit all our lives, and, you know, been taught by everybody around us, including our parents, and this is how it needs to be, and this is how it was, and how it's always been, and blah blah blah. And nobody knows the truth because the truth has been hidden from us all. You know, you know, truth is treason in this empire of lies, and that's exactly what we're living in, is in an empire of lies. Every bit of it. The whole damn thing is nothing but a fucking lie. It's nothing but a scam. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's that's all it is. And we're all contributing into it. And that's one other thing too. I get all this cognitive dissonance about, oh, we need a vote. You need to vote. You need to vote. Well, bullshit. Quite honestly, if voting actually benefit the people of this nation in any way, they'd make it illegal. That's the reason why voting doesn't fucking mean shit. It doesn't mean shit. It actually, what it does is like you're giving your written consent for a ruler to rule over you and everyone else. You know, you don't have a choice in what goes on up there because, quite honestly, they provide the choices that you choose from. You know, they provide the choices. It's kind of like how a cop says, you got one or two choices. You can do this or you can do that. And neither one of those choices work out for your benefit. Neither one of them. You know, and they you know, you hear people say, you got, you know, the voting for the lesser of the two evils. Well, why would you want to do that? Because if you vote for the lesser of two evils, that just means evil still wins. Why would you vote? Why would you give your consent for evil to be your ruler, your master? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Like I said, it's despotism. It's cognitive dissonance. It's Stockholm syndrome on a massive scale. That's what it is. People need to wake up. People need to wake up. And honestly, it can't happen. It can't not happen fast enough for me. Honestly, you know, the only problem is that I might only see the beginning of people waking up in my lifetime. You know what I mean? Because it's going to take. I mean, if everybody started waking up, if everybody was to start waking up right now, at this very moment, and start waking up and seeing the truth and realizing the truth and standing up for the truth and actually standing up for their rights and they're standing up for their freedom, it would still take us at the minimum a generation to get where we need to be. You know, at the minimum, a generation. So even if we were to start right now, you know, like I said, I mean, you know, I'm only myself, me, myself, and I. I can only do my part. You know what I mean? But if I can wake up 100 people, and those 100 people can wake up 100 people, and those people can wake up 100 people, and those people can wake up, you know, you get the point. Kind of like setting that brush fire of freedom and letting that fucking brush fire just sweep across the fucking whole planet. Because that's really what it needs to happen. But it needs to happen first and foremost here in this country first. Because we cannot do anything until we get our own house in order first. You know, that's what pisses me off. It's like, we're sending all, the government's stealing our wealth in the form of taxes, and every aspect of our life, every fucking aspect of our life is being taxed. All right. And yet that our wealth is being sent to all these other countries around the fucking planet. Not one country in on this fucking planet is taxing the crap out of their citizens to give money to the American people. Not one. But yet we do. We get taxed every fucking facet. Honestly, if the quote unquote climate change motherfuckers out there get their way, they'll pass this Clean Air Act and then we'll be taxed just to fucking breathe. Just to fucking breathe. I mean, we're already getting basically taxed just to exist on this fucking planet. We got to pay a fucking somebody just to fucking exist. It's got to stop. It's got to stop. And quite honestly, man, I'm not Bible thumper or anything like that, because honestly, I've read it, but I'm not a Christian. I'm not, so, but honestly, in some ways, we do need something kind of biblical, some kind of something to happen. I mean, or, if I was to go the sci-fi route, what we need is everybody start fucking becoming superheroes. I wish I could get my damn superhero powers. You know what I mean? Because I'd use them for good. You know what I mean? Because I mean, honestly, the enemy that we're all facing, whether you know it or not, is pretty damn big, and they've got a lot of influence on a lot of different people. So a lot of different people believe in this evil entity. Because there's a lot of people that want to stay in the matrix. They want to continue to stay in the matrix because they benefit from it. You know, you know, they make money from it. They gain influence from it. They benefit from the matrix. So they want it to stay in place. They want the matrix to continue, and they will fight tooth and nail to keep it that way. And that's the problem. You know, that's the problem. Oh damn, there's a fish that just jumped right there. Right over there. Pretty big fish too. Yeah, I mean, like I said, yeah, it is insanity, dude. It is insanity. And I mean, like I said, I'm just dealing with what's here in America. You know what I mean? Like I said, we need to get our own house in order before we do anything else. Before we can help anybody else around the damn nation, around the world. You know what I mean? Not one nation around the world has given any kind of monies to help any of these people that had all their lives destroyed by Hurricane Helene. Not one. Not one. You know, why should we give any of these things to fucking like Ukraine? Ukraine and Russia, as far as I'm concerned, they can fucking deal their own shit. You know, deal with their own shit. It's not our fucking problem. Shit over there in Israel and all that shit. It's not our fucking problem. You guys deal with your own shit. You've been dealing with fucking hundreds of years and centuries now. It's not our fucking problem. You deal with it. And I don't want to pay for it. I don't want none of my wealth being stolen from me to go pay for that shit. I don't want none of my wealth being stolen from me to sit there and give these fucking people that are illegals fucking a comfortable living, when we got people over there in North Carolina that lost their house, all their belongings, even the job they fucking worked at is gone. They lost everything. And they're probably going to be forced off of their land because they can't afford to pay the rent, insurance, and all this other stuff. The insurance didn't pay shit. Hell, this last hurricane here in Florida, there's a lot of insurance companies that dropped a lot of people, just flat out dropped them. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you got these big corporations, like, now you can call this a damn conspiracy theory or not. I don't give a shit. But I know there was a lot of people over there in North Carolina that were approached by a lot of these companies that want to mine lithium and crystal, and those people refused to sell their property. And guess what? Now a fucking hurricane came in, and they're going to probably be forced off that land, because they can't pay for shit, and those companies are going to come in there and swoop in and buy that shit up from them, all that land from them. You know, I'm going to tell you something. There's two things in this world that, when it comes down to value, there's two things in this world that has always gained value. It's never depreciated. All right. There's two things. It's gold and silver and fucking property. land and gold and silver. Those are the two things in this world. I mean, if you count gold and silver as two things, that's three things then. But gold and silver is one thing to me. So you got gold and land. Those are the two things that always gains value, and it's never depreciated. And that's exactly what they want to control. They want to control the gold, and they want to control the land. And if they can control the weather, they can control the food. And if they can control the weather, they can control the world. Because if they can control the food, they control the people. It is. It's all about fucking control. And quite honestly, man, you know, there's certain things that I just cannot say on YouTube. You know what I mean? But if you're listening carefully enough to the tone of my voice, you'll understand and know exactly what I'm thinking. But what are you doing a little bit? You okay? You okay, girl? Hmm? Popcorn, good to see you in there, man. I was over on your stream a little while ago, man, but there really wasn't much going on. I mean, you know, I heard some stuff over on that channel 17 that you were live streaming or whatever. I mean, there was some stuff, but it was just, I don't know. Channel 17 here in my area is really not much going on that channel. Lady Smith, what's going on? Yeah, this is my puppy. My puppy got sharp ass freaking puppy teeth too. Here, bite your own damn foot. Don't bite my hand. Bite your own foot. So, when it comes down to some things, like I said, Joe Cool, what is up, my brother? Good to see you, sir. Huckleberry. Right on. Good to see you too, sir. Hey, Joe. When is that thing you were talking about? What was it that um was it autopocalypse or autopocalypse? What was that thing? That thing you were talking about? Where a lot of people autopocalypse or whatever it was. I can't remember what. Oh shit! What was that thing that you were inviting me to? You were like, "You want to go?" Yeah, Autopalooza 19th this month. Because at this moment, I don't have a ride or anything like that. But at this moment, I'm free. I don't have any um, obligations other than my dogs. That's the only thing about it. I don't have anybody to take care of my dogs if I was to leave. That's the only thing. So I mean, you know, I'd like to go, but I don't know if I can because I have no one to take care of these guys while I'm gone. Well, if you make it down here, because like I said, I'm out here, Panama City and stuff like that. If you make it down this direction, man, let me know, and we can hang out for a little while. I ain't got a blunt to smoke with you, but I'd love to smoke one with you. Why are you hitting yourself a little bit? Why are you hitting yourself? Why are you hitting yourself? Where'd you go, big girl? Where'd you go? Hmm? Don't climb on me. You're fucking soaking wet. You guys want to walk back down to the house? Is that what you want to do? You guys want to walk back down to the house? Hmm? Yeah, I'm in the Panhandle of Florida. It's west of Tallahassee, Panama City. Where I'm sitting right now is just a slightly north of it, but that's the easiest way to find where I'm at is Panama City. Because I'm not that far away from there. Um, but that's the most recognizable on the map anyway. And I don't really have anywhere to stay, but because I don't really have anywhere to put anybody up, until like if you needed a place to stay or something like that, but I mean, I'd offer that if I had something. Unless you feel like living, staying in a tent or something like that. I got plenty of places to stay in a tent if you needed a place to stay for whatever. All right, you guys, let's walk back to the house. Come on. But you guys, I don't know. I'm sorry about my little rant, but it kind of drives me nuts about some of this stuff. Like I said, I mean, I was talking about just like even just the radio part of it. You know, um, like I said, a license is nothing but a tax. And some of these people out there that think that they're better than everybody else because they got this damn ham license are fucking idiots. And they're just sad fucking people that just fat asses that sit in a chair talk on the radio and fucking and want to consider themselves the gatekeepers of radio, and they're just sad people. You got to understand, when it comes down to radio, it's the same thing here on the internet. When it comes down to radio, it's just two transceivers talking to each other. That's all it is. There's nothing special about it. you know you know and honestly, the FCC is nothing but a revenue generating and self-proclaimed rules and regulations enforcement agency. That's all it is. It's a it's not even He's not even an elected body. It's an appointed body by the fucking president. you know we the people don't even have a choice in that shit, because they've appointed themselves the authority. And Government doesn't own the airwaves, y'all. Government doesn't own the airwaves. And honestly, man, I'm kind of hoping, you know, this is one of the benefits, I guess, of the storm. Is it's bringing a lot of people, bringing that prepper type mentality when it comes down to communications, and more into the forefront, because there was a lot of people out there that started to realize when it comes down to communications, when the cell phones go down, the TV goes down, regular broadcast radio goes down, how do we communicate? How do we keep in touch with with our loved ones and our family, or our friends, and just be able to get information out and get information in from the outside world. Radio is a good technology. It's always been a good technology. It's an old technology, and it still works very good. And honestly, I mean, and this is one of the things I will say is, like, it's actually kind of beneficial from the storm. Is it's bringing more people into the idea of radio for communications. If it's not just for the hobby, it's also for, like, the preparedness type scenario, preparedness type mentality. And that's another thing too, man. When it comes down to radio, they can't really censor us, man. We're not on an infrastructure. We're not on their infrastructure. You know what I mean? We as individuals become the infrastructure. And that's the same thing when I'm talking about, like, self-governing, self-reliant, and stuff like that. When it comes down to, getting away from this religion called government altogether, we don't need it. You know what I mean? We don't need their infrastructure, their social programs, their fucking bullshit. We don't need it. We as individuals can become the infrastructure. You know what I'm saying? And hey, Ronan, what's going on? I'm not reading the chat all that much right now. I'm kind of walking, so good to see you, man. And it drives me nuts. It's like, when it comes down to radio, the FCC didn't do anything when it comes down to attracting more people and helping the hobby grow. Did nothing. All they did is just create a bunch of rules and penalties if you violate these rules. That's all it did. We, the people that got into radio and actually spent our own damn money to buy a fucking radio, learn about the whole damn thing, and get on the air and start talking, we are the ones that did it. We're the ones that got in there and actually created the infrastructure of the whole radio world. Not the FCC. We become the infrastructure. We as individuals, a collective didn't start radio and do all this stuff. A collective actually is a collective is a bunch of individuals anyway. If it wasn't for the individual, you wouldn't have the collective. The collective needs the individual, but the individual doesn't need the collective. That's the thing. But they want to reverse that. They want to make us all think that we need the collective, and the collective is necessary. And you can't be an individual. You can't be this individual because it has to be part of the collective. That's just bullshit. The collective needs the individuals, but the individuals don't need the collective. we got to get back into this. Back to our roots. Back to the simplest, basic shit. And I try to do my part. I said I'm just an individual. I can't do all of it. I can only do my part. So like I said, when it comes down to the radio stuff, I can relate a lot of stuff, just everyday life. I can relate a lot of stuff to radio because there's a lot of stuff that's similar to radio, to the radio hobby, or just whatever. You know, if it wasn't for me spending my own money and my own wealth on a radio, on some coax, and an antenna, and putting up an antenna and learning the a little bit about the electronics and the little bit about this and that, or whatever. When it comes down to it, if it wasn't me, getting on the air, I wouldn't be part of this whole radio scenario. And if everybody didn't do that, there wouldn't be a radio hobby. You know, but it comes to us, the people. We the people take it upon ourselves, put our wealth into it for what we want, for to get something out of it, because like I said, I do the radio stuff. It's a hobby, but it can be more than a hobby. It can be a very integral part of our lives when it comes down to disseminating information. That's what a lot of people have realized, like during the storm, that you know it's a vital part of our infrastructure, if you go that far, when it comes down to emergency services. Because if it wasn't for radio, a lot of this stuff wouldn't get done. It wouldn't get done at all. And communication is key, y'all. And if we can't communicate with each other, we cannot bring our heads together and find solutions of this crap that's heading toward us from all different directions. We cannot coordinate, and we've got to be able to communicate. It's a big deal. Wolverine, what's going on? Oh, I'm gonna read some of the chat. Hold on. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, I mean, I want to try and give out some good information to y'all. And like I said, I'm just trying to, and I don't want to sound like I'm bitching and moaning and all this other crap. I just, and I don't want to make it sound like that I'm like trying to tell you what to do and how to think, or, you should do this, you should do that, you need to do this, you need to do that. I don't want to be that guy, you know. But we're never going to get better in this world. We're never going to get better for our future generations if we don't wake up and fight for our freedoms. And that just frustrates the shit out of me too. Why do we have to fight so goddamn hard against the government to be free and left alone? Why do we gotta fucking fight so fucking hard every day of our life just to be free and left alone? It frustrates the fuck out of me. You know, People have this delusion that we are free in this country. Some people have this delusion that rights don't even exist. It's just a concept in our own head. You know. I mean, honestly, if rights don't exist, then why is there so many people trying to take them away from us? And why is there so many people? I mean, always trying to get us to give them away, and consent that to give our rights away or give them up. Why is people doing that? I mean, if they don't exist, why is so many people that are trying to take them away from us, violate them, and get us to consent to give them away if they don't exist? So that whole argument that they don't exist is bullshit. Of course they exist. It really frustrates me because, I mean, honestly, I think that's a communist mentality, thinking that, oh no, rights don't exist. There's no such thing. Well, that's a communist mentality, in my opinion. Because if they don't exist for us, who do they exist for? Because there are people out there that believe that they do, like people in government believe that they've got rights. I hear this all the time. Cops say, "I've got the right to ask you for your name. I've got the right to do this and that." Well, okay, they believe that they've got rights to do this and that. They've got I've got the right to sit there and shoot you if I feel scared. They believe they got rights. So rights don't exist, huh? I think that's a communist mentality, thinking that we don't have that rights don't exist, and they're just privileges that endowed to us by someone else. If I don't have rights, then where do those people get the right to take mine away? Where do they get it from? If rights are nothing but a privilege, where did that privilege come from? And and who allows that privilege to happen? Where did they get that privilege or that right? It's kind of like a conundrum, you know. It's kind of like, it's like the chicken and the egg thing. What came first, chicken or the egg? Well, I know where it came. Yeah, I know what came first. It's a fucking rooster came first. Well, you guys, I think I've been on here for about an hour and a half now. I think I'm going to go ahead and shut it down. Like I said, I was just really just going down to the pond, kind of walk the dogs a little bit, and instead of recording a video, I decided to do a live stream instead. I haven't been doing a lot of live streams, for a while. Actually, I mean, I kind of put a halt to my live streams. Like when my dad died in January, I just kind of stopped doing them for a while, and I've just been kind of sitting back and watching, observing my surroundings. Observing of what's going on here on YouTube. Like I said, I mean, my Anarchy Television channel, I think I've had since 2013. I've been on YouTube since 2003. I've had a couple of other channels over the years. You know what I mean? Actually, there's probably one or two of them still floating around YouTube. I just don't have access to anymore because I forgot my damn password and all that other shit. So they're still out there, but you know, I don't have access to them anymore. But you know, so I mean, you know, I've been watching the progression and observing the progression of YouTube for a while. And like I said, I mean, now I'm really getting sick and tired of some of these people out there on what they produce when it comes down to some live streams and stuff like that. It's just it's nothing beneficial. There's nothing productive, nothing positive comes out of it. You know, they're just doing it for clicks and views and try to, you know, basically prostitute themselves for fucking cash. You know, I don't really do that. You know, it was like I was telling Snooks earlier, you know, because she was like, you know, she happened to mention in the chat, please everybody like and subscribe. I don't do that kind of shit. I don't ask people to sit there and like and subscribe. You know, I don't really care. I mean, you know, it's nice that you guys do like and subscribe to my channel. That's awesome. You know, but it doesn't bother me one way or the other if you do or don't. You know, but there is times every, you know, it's like, you know, like all the other big YouTubers out there, it's like, please thumbs up and, you know, like and subscribe my channel and share it out and all that other good shit. You know what I mean? Go through my playlist. You know, I got a lot of stuff on my community tab. You know, check it out. You know what I mean? I do put stuff out there. I mean, I've had about 1,000 videos deleted by YouTube because they claim, you know, medical misinformation or misinformation of the 2020 election or whatever. You know what I mean? But, you know, I've had a lot of stuff deleted, but, you know, there's still stuff on there. And like I said, you know, like, you know, most of my videos, if you go through the past, it's mostly because of the CB radio stuff or video gates, that stuff, but there's other stuff on there. And then on top of that, I mean, you know, there's a lot of stuff in my playlist. I've got a shitload of videos in my playlist and that I've saved and also I've created. There's a lot of stuff that I share in my community tab that may be beneficial and relevant to a lot of stuff. And I promote critical thinking. I promote people to actually use their brain and think about stuff. You may or may not agree. I don't care one way or the other. You know, that's just who I am. I don't give a shit. You know what I mean? I don't care if you like me or hate me. I don't care. You know, it's like I was sitting there talking to somebody about the other day when it comes down to like trolls and haters and stuff. I mean, quite honestly, the trolls and the haters are my biggest fans. They watch every single one of my videos. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you know, they're my biggest fans, man. So I don't really care. I don't block anybody. I read everybody's comments. You know what I mean? Even if they get YouTube deletes them and stuff, if I can find it, I'll read it. You know what I mean? YouTube does. I don't delete anybody's comments either. You know what I'm saying? I'll let people say whatever they want to say. You know, and reveal to the world who they are. You know, So I'm not about all that stuff. So I mean, I really appreciate all you guys when it comes down to coming in and supporting the channel, commenting. I enjoy the comments more than I do. I don't care if you like it or not. If you put a thumbs up or not, I don't really care. I mean, it's nice. It helps the algorithm. I'd rather have the comments, honestly, because I like reading the comments. I like interacting with people. That's what I use YouTube for. I use YouTube for, conversation and meeting new people and, and stuff like that. That's what I use YouTube. I kind of use YouTube like I use the CB radio. It's just YouTube has got video. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, I look at YouTube kind of like that. I look at it as like the radio. It's the same thing in mine. It's just a different medium. So I'm not in it for the clicks and views. You know what I mean? I mean, honestly, if I was in it for the clicks and views, I'd have a shitload of people out here just on the damn live streams on a panel, just sitting there arguing, bickering, most blah, 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 back and forth for hours on end. I'd have a shitload of subscribers. I'd have 1 million subscribers just because people like watching drama. You know, they like watching that kind of crap. You know, but I'm not into that shit. You know, that's why I don't even have 1,000 subscribers. You know, I've had, you know, like I said, I've had Anarchy Television since what, 2013, 2014 or something like that. I don't even have 1,000 subscribers yet. I mean, you know, if I really wanted that, I mean, honestly, I know how I can get that if I really wanted that. You know, just show a bunch of meaningless drivel on my damn channel all the time, and yeah, I have a shitload of people as subscribers. You know, it would be kind of nice because I mean, you know, like on some aspects, there's certain things that it would be nice to have. You know, there are some channels that are big channels that got a shitload of subscribers, and you know, like I'll give you an example. There's a guy I know that that does a lot of stuff when it comes down to like bike riding and stuff like that. He goes out on his bike and he does a lot of videos of him bike riding. And because of that, and he's got a lot of subscribers because of that, he's actually got bicycle companies sending him bicycles to review. Or like, what's his name? Nana Rubicon. He you know, he gets all these radio companies, these manufacturers, sending him radios for free to review, and he keeps them. You know what I mean? So I mean, it would be kind of nice to be able to have, like, for me personally, like on the radio end of it, I would love to have radio manufacturers send me radios and radio equipment to review, basically make a commercial out here on YouTube about that radio and do my review of it, and I get all this free equipment. That would be awesome. I would love that kind of shit, or even camping equipment, you know, or stuff like that. You know, I would love to be able to sit there and do reviews of camping equipment and do videos of me going out camping, reviewing this equipment and giving my opinion and all that stuff on that stuff and getting a bunch of free stuff. That'd be awesome. You know, I mean, I'm just, you know, not there. I mean, you know, it's like another thing too. There's a lot of people, I know people that have quit their jobs. I mean, honestly, it would be nice to be able to do it, but I mean, it's a lot of hard work, but they've quit their jobs and they do nothing but YouTube videos. I know a guy that quit his job and he turned his hobby of going fishing into his job now. Basically, he goes out and makes videos of him going fishing, which he enjoys to do anyway, and it's like his hobby anyway. He makes videos and puts out on YouTube, and that pays his fucking bills. I mean, I just haven't figured out a way, me personally, to make my hobbies into a way of making a living. And I'm still trying because I do a lot of different things. And like I said, I'm making leather work and stuff like that right now. And the more I do it, the better I get at it. And hopefully the better I get at it, the more money I can make when I sell it. And that's right now is my biggest problem, is selling this stuff, you know, and getting it out there where more than just the eyeballs around my surrounding area get to see it, you know, get it out there where more people around the world can see my stuff and pay for it. And, you know, I can make a living doing that, you know. But I mean, you know, like I said, that guy that does that fishing thing, he spends hours, hours and hours just editing videos and stuff like that. So it's not like, you know, it's still hard work. It's a lot of time. It's a lot of money to do it. But, you know, there are people that do it. You know, I know it's very possible because I see people do it. I just haven't figured out my angle for myself in my life yet. And I hope I can do it before I die. You know, I'm 50 years old now. I mean, I'll be lucky if I got 20 more years to go. A lot of my family, man, have died around fucking 70, 75 years old. So, I mean, I'll be lucky if I get 20 years. And I would like to be able to find my niche in this world. And quite honestly, man, I got so many different skills. I think I'd be more useful if the shit hits the fan. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? You know, when the shit hits the fan, I'll be really useful. People would be begging for me to be a part of their group, because of my skills, you know, yeah, because I'd be very helpful. It's just in this world right now, I'm just not very useful, evidently, to a majority of people. And I don't even know if my channel even is useful to even you guys out there. I don't even know. I mean, I hope some of the stuff that I put out there is a little bit useful and you can get a little bit of knowledge or whatever. I mean, I hope so, but I'm not going to give you all my shit. I'm not going to tell you all my secrets. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the first rule of prepping is don't tell anybody about your fucking prep. So I'm not going to show you all my shit. I'm not going to tell you what all I got and what all I know. You know what I mean? Because that's just giving away all the information to the enemy, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? For all I know, the damn, the CIA and the government and the FBI and all that stuff watching my videos right now, just waiting to find something that I've said or I've shown to the next thing you know, so they can knock on my door. Like I said, it's like you got these, there's videos of these guys that had FBI come to their house because of fucking posts they put on fucking Facebook. You know, that's what our tax dollars is paying for, by the way. Radio tech. Well, I'll tell you, New Guru, I'm not a technician, but I know enough to be dangerous, I guess you would say. Because I mean, I somewhat know a little. I know enough to a little bit enough to repair to a point and modify to a point my own equipment. I'm not good enough to actually, you know, um, I'm not good enough. I have never had any schooling at it, so I've had to learn everything on my own, and just years of experience of messing around with stuff. But I'm not good enough to have somebody give me their radio and that's broken and me fix it. I'm not that good. And radio technicians are a big thing when it comes down to it. I'll have to say that. Just in my local area around here, the three really good radio technicians that used to be around here are not here anymore because they all died, and all that knowledge went with them. You know what I mean? And radio techs are becoming far and few between. Um, like for instance, here in Florida, up here in the Panhandle, there's really isn't. I mean, there's like probably one guy out in Tallahassee, and then there's a couple of guys that are down toward Miami, here in Florida, that are radio techs. They're really good guys, really good. They really have some good knowledge and stuff like that. But that's just there's nothing close. And then when it comes down to that, also is like everything else is outside the state. States away a lot of times. If you really want to get into some, guys that really know their shit. I mean, there's a guy. He's got a YouTube channel also. It goes by BBI. Oh my gosh, some of the amplifiers that he makes is just from scratch. From scratch. He makes these amplifiers. There's a beautiful fucking artwork if you look at how he does it. And I'm gonna tell you, I mean, if I ever had the money, I would love to get him to build me a 4 pill um, amplifier. I would love that, so I can put that onto my CD. Because I mean, I love his work. I just love watching him do some of his work and then seeing, it looks like artwork to me. Just looking at him sitting there soldering stuff, it's just beautiful to me. And there's some other guys out there, some other techs, that have YouTube channels and stuff like that, and they're really good guys, and they know their shit, but it's just far and few between. Um, and then it's not necessarily just to repair, but to also modify. That's a big deal too when it comes down to me. I even the radio that I'm using right now to talk on the CB radio is technically a 10-meter ham radio, and I had to modify it just to expand the frequency range to get to the CB band. And it's not much to it, but it's actually, you get in there and open the damn radio up, get down there on the soldering, on the circuit board, and you got to solder some stuff, you got to pull something out, and blah blah blah, little things like that. You got to know what you're doing. And it is, um on that technician type level scenario, but it's a modification. And I've done that myself. I mean, I'm comfortable enough to know enough what I'm doing, and if I research enough stuff and all that stuff, I know what I'm not going to fuck it up. You know what I mean? And it's my stuff. That's why I'm somewhat comfortable with my own equipment. I'm just not that comfortable with other people's equipment, because I don't want to fuck up their shit. You know what I'm saying? If I fuck up my own shit, it's my own fault. Who am I? I can't blame anybody. You know what I'm saying? So, um, and I've fucked up a bunch of stuff over the years, but that's also like lessons learned in a sense. You know what I mean? These are things that I've had to learn over the years of what not to do. What this is what not to do. Kind of thing. And what's up, Garrett? I'm trying to read the chat. Yeah, Lady Smith. I mean, honestly, I mean, there's, like I said, these are some of the skills. Like I said, it's like, it can be valuable today as the world is right now. But if everything goes to shit, these are skills that are going to be very important. Because I mean, honestly, man, when all the shit happens, when the shit hits the fan and all that stuff, this idea of like when it comes down to radio comms, when it comes down to repairing and modifying radio, that's a skill that's going to be very valuable. Just so we can continue to communicate. And you know, like I said, I mean, I got a lot of different. I'm kind of a jack of all trades when it comes down to it. I'm a master of none of them, but I know a little bit about everything, and nothing of, or not, or yeah, I know a little bit about everything, and a little bit of and everything about nothing. I guess you would say. you know, you know, but and I'm more of the type of guy that's like, I don't like this disposable type society we live in. So I'm always interested. I'm always trying to figure out ways of prolonging the life of what I have. You know, even if it's taking junk, I mean complete junk that somebody threw away, and turning around and making something out of that, or repairing it to where it works again. That's just how I am. I really do not like going out and buying brand new shit. I just don't like it, because brand new shit today don't last. Um, and so I'm always trying to figure out ways of, like, like I said, like even with the knives, when I was making knives, um, I was taking discarded stuff. I was taking, like, throwing away, that people that threw away old lawnmower blades, and that's stuff that people throw away all the time. The blade gets, hell, sometimes the blade just gets dull. A lot of times people, they just replace the blade. You know what I mean? They don't even bother sharpening the blade, putting it back on the mower, and go. There's a lot of people out there that just don't even bother with that. You know what I mean? It's just, to them, it's just like, I just assume, just take that blade off, and put a brand new one on it where I don't have to worry about it. Well, you know, you can prolong that lawnmower blade a lot longer if you just turn around and take it off the damn lawnmower and sharpen it. You know, but some people don't even don't think about that. But I was taking lawnmower blades and I was turning around and taking something that was trash and turning it into a knife. And I was making something that was going to be useful and be useful for a generation or more. You know, something that was going to last for a long time. You know, and you know, that's just one example. You know, um, that was another thing too. I was taking, like, you know, I was making something useful out of something trash. I was making those alcohol stoves, and I was making those out of damn just regular soup cans and soda cans, you know. And I was making alcohol stoves that don't weigh anything, and they don't cost that much, you know, to make, you know, and they're very easy to make. And you can throw that in your backpack and stuff like that, and you can use that to cook food over, you know, or you know, you can use that to boil water or whatever, you know. And you know, instead of going out and buying a fucking alcohol stove off the internet or whatever, and um, you know, I can make it for nothing, and I can make a lot of them for nothing hardly, you know, out of trash. You know, as they say, is one man's trash is another man's treasure, and that's just how I see it too. Because I mean, you know, um, there's so much stuff that gets thrown away every day in this country and all over the world, and you know, too many people just don't. They just have that consumer mentality, or that, you know, the disposable type mentality, you know. And it's like, you know, and that's how a lot of these corporations and companies actually look at it. It's like, you know, their bottom line is, it's like, well, we need to make this product. All right, well, we're going to make this product, but we don't want to make it too damn good that it lasts people for a long time, because we want to continue making money. So we're going to make this thing, you know, where it's actually kind of cheap, sell it for cheap, you know. So if it breaks in, like, you know, a couple of months, they'll go out and buy another one, and that continues the revenue stream. You know what I mean? Because if they made something that actually lasted for 50 years, once everybody's got one, their revenue stream stops. So that's that designed obsolescence in every product and almost every service or whatever, everything out there nowadays that is designed into the thing. You know, when they started first made light bulbs, there's a light bulb in a museum. I can't remember which one it is right now, but it's been lit 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's been lit for over, I think it's been lit for 100 years. All right, now this thing, I'm gonna tell you something. When they realized that light bulbs, when they start first making them, that could last that long, they didn't like that. So they made light bulbs only last for like a quarter of their lifetime, you know, if even less than that sometimes. They did that on purpose because they wanted to continue the revenue stream. It's a designed obsolescence. They wanted to make light bulbs that wouldn't last very long, so people would go, you know, be forced to go buy more light bulbs. Now, every product is made that way. Every product is made that way because it continues their bottom line of revenue. Yeah, Mike. Yeah. I think there was one, yeah, like I said, I think there's one that's in our museum that's been lit longer than 50 years. I think it's been almost 100 years now, honestly. Keith, what's happening? Yeah, same thing with the medical industry. Every single thing, like I said, every product and almost every service has that same scenario. Because honestly, the healthcare system, they make more money keeping us sick. They don't make money making cures. They only make money, you know, to just basically to serve the symptoms. They want to continue. They want to keep people sick because that brings in more revenue. If they actually created cures and cured everybody, they wouldn't make any more revenue if they cured everybody. It's the same thing. Like I said, almost every single product and every single hell, I look at shoes. And those are just like some, these cheap croc type things. But you look at shoes on how long they last you if you use them every single day, for instance, or if you're a worker, for instance, and you work and wear work boots every single day, how long they last you. Unless you got like there are some companies out there that still make handmade boots, handmade leather boots, and I'm gonna tell you they cost a lot, but they'll last you for 50 fucking years. You know what I mean? But no, I mean you get just shoes, just as an example. They don't make shoes to last you for very long because they want you to go out and buy another pair of shoes. You know, every single product and almost every single service is designed to be obsolescent. You look at cell phones. Cell phones, they're designed to be obsolescent within a couple of years. You know what I mean? So you're forced to go buy the newest, the next newest phone. You know what I mean? The next newest thing, whatever, da 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 da. And electronics are worst thing about when it comes down to that kind of shit. They're the worst when it comes down to that designed obsolescent scenario. But anyway, you guys, I've got to go. My battery's running low. And I really, Grim, good to see you, sir. Thank you for popping in. But I've been, it's going on 2 hours now, and my batteries get down to like 15%. So, I'm going to have to shut it off. And I really appreciate all you guys are popping in and hanging out and you know, listening to my rants and continuing and commenting in the chat and all that stuff, and continuing the conversation and all that stuff. But like I said, like all those big YouTubers say, thumbs up, give me a thumbs up, and like and subscribe and share and all that good stuff. And like I said, go through all my stuff. I've got a lot of stuff in my community tab. I got a lot of stuff in my saved in my playlist. Maybe there might be something for you guys out there. I mean, like I said, I know my channel's not for everybody, but there might be something for someone out there. So, you know, and I'll try and make some more live streams. I'm gonna try and get a bunch of guys that are radio guys that I know that have YouTube channels or whatever, just and try to get a panel on. I'll do a live stream with a panel of a bunch of guys that are radio guys, even CB radio or ham radio, whatever, and talk about stuff to try and help people that, especially in the prepper scenario, that trying to help people that bought radio equipment and have yet to even use it and don't really even know that much about it, but they got it, with the prepper type mentality in mind, and maybe we can help some people out there to kind of like learn a few things. It's like, okay, and maybe get people into the hobby, maybe get people to actually get on the air and start talking, because honestly, I mean, it's hard to get people on the radio, especially younger generation. It's unfortunate though, but it's hard to find anybody under the age of 30 on the radio anymore. Majority of the people I know, I've talked to for years. Majority of the people I know, they're 45. They're the age of 45 on up. Almost everybody I know that's on the radio, it's like from the age of 45 on up. So I mean, it would be nice to get younger people on there into the hobby, and then also keep the airwaves, alive, because you never know. Like I said, I mean, like I've been telling my family for years, it's like, you never know what's going to happen. You never know. So it's always a good thing to have, at the minimum 2 weeks of food, water, and whatever medication you need, and whatever means that you have to protect all that stuff and keep it protected. Always have that on hand. And then the same thing with communications, man. It's always good to have. You never know what's going to happen. It's always good to have this stuff and know how to use it. And so if things do get bad, you're still able to keep in contact with your friends, your loved ones, or the outside world. Because, like I said, communication is key, y'all. And we got to keep that communication going. That's why I want to have. That's why I like to talk to people. But anyway, like I said, y'all have a good one out there. This is 1122 Wingnut Radio, and I'm back out.